throughout this whole run-up that we've seen in oil prices, you guys have been the most pessimistic, if I might say, in terms of where we're headed, in part because of the demand picture. Can you help me understand the removal of the Russian oil, the continued product demand versus your overall demand thesis?
Sure. Well, the product demand is where the overall demand thesis comes in. We had at the beginning of the year expected that there was going to be around 3.6 million barrels a day of demand increase year on year. We're now down to around 2.2 million barrels a day of demand increase. That makes a big difference if you're pulling on a refining system that is under duress. And the other big difference has to do with, where refinery capacity is likely to be. So I'd say that we're not the lowest and we're not the highest on demand, but every week you look at everybody, looking against each other and bringing down their expectations of demand growth. You look at demand where people thought it was going to be relatively high. That was petchem feedstock for the petrochemical industry. It's associated with industrial demand globally in any event. And it's way off. The discount of naphtha to propane is a sign that that petrochemical demand is really low. And that was one of the hopes on where oil demand growth was going to be. People were focusing on jet fuel in particular, along with petchem feedstock, and the feedstock is not there. So we think a world staring at recession is not a world of robust demand growth for diesel.
So, Ed, I know the differentials are going to be all out of whack, in part because of the partial oil ban and also just the rejiggering of trade flows. But where is the fair value of oil? Because you're right, everyone talks about, stagflation and possible recession, so why are we at 120 for Brent? So where is the fair value?
It's a hard number to come at when you have so many moving parts. If you look at the fair value for oil, look at the forward curve. That's the sign people usually go to, but I'd say it's exaggerated because the forward curve has now that prompt has got up to 120, is a very high price for the end of the year and for the end of next year. And I don't think that's fair market value. You have to just look at the cost structure of the industry. You have to look at where new production is coming and where it would be coming even if we didn't have $123 Brent. And I'd say it's more in the $70 range than it is in the $120 range.